Welcome to the deep dive. Let's face it, you really can't scroll through the news these days without bumping into something about artificial intelligence. It's just everywhere.
It really is. It feels like this massive wave, and everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, and it's definitely more than just talk now. We're starting to see, real changes in how we actually work.
Absolutely. AI is actively reshaping the job landscape as we speak.
Exactly. And that's what we're really digging into today. You, our listener, you're probably trying to make sense of all this chatter, figure out what it actually means for your job, your career path.
Right. And maybe for the wider economy, too.
Totally. So our mission here in this deep dive is to cut through some of that noise. We want to look closely at AI's impact on job roles, the workforce, employment generally. And we're drawing on some really interesting info you shared.
Yeah, the main source we're looking at is a blog post. It's called The Impact of AI on Job Roles, Workforce, and Employment. What you need to know. It gives us a pretty solid framework to start from.
Okay, great. So the big questions we want to tackle, especially thinking about you want to get up to speed quickly, are things like, how is AI already changing what jobs look like day to day?
Uh-huh. And what are the potential upsides? And the downsides, too, for people actually in the workforce.
Yeah, exactly. And are there totally new jobs popping up because of AI? What are they?
Maybe the million-dollar question.
Right. What are the key things you need to focus on, skills-wise maybe, to stay competitive while all this is happening? So let's start there. How is AI changing the actual nature of job roles?
Well, one of the first things the blog post points out is this really fundamental shift. It's about the automation of, the routine, the manual tasks.
Stuff that's predictable.
Exactly. And the result isn't just companies maybe saving some money, it's about increased efficiency, productivity, but also it shifts what humans focus on.
So less of the repetitive work, more of the thinking work.
Sort of, yeah. Problem solving, strategic thinking, that kind of thing. The post uses high-tech manufacturing as a key example.
Right, where robots are doing more on the assembly line.
Precisely, taking over those really manual, repetitive actions. But it's not just that the robots are doing the same work, only faster.
Okay, so what else is changing?
The human roles are evolving too. It's less about, say, physically putting the pieces together, and more about understanding these AI systems, these machines, operating them, maintaining them, maybe troubleshooting when things go wrong.
Right, so the skill set changes completely, which I guess leads to the next point, entirely new jobs being created.
Yes, exactly. That's a direct consequence. The blog post specifically calls out roles like data analysts, AI programmers, even machine learning specialists.
And these aren't just in manufacturing, presumably.
Oh, no, definitely not. That's just one example. We're seeing this across, loads of different industries.
And what kind of skills do these new roles demand? Is it all just deep tech knowledge?
Not entirely. The article makes a good point that it's often a blend. You need the technical skills for sure, but also a real understanding of the business side, how things actually work on the ground.
Adaptability.
Yes, those two. Creativity, adaptability. These seem to be recurring themes, actually. Really crucial soft skills alongside the tech know-how.
So if you're listening and thinking, okay, what should I be learning? The blog post seems pretty direct about that.
It is. It keeps coming back to a few core areas. Data analytics is a big one. Machine learning concepts. Programming skills.
These aren't just buzzwords then, they're foundational capabilities.
Pretty much, yeah. Increasingly in demand. And the source even suggests some practical steps for developing these.
Like what?
Well, things like taking focused courses. It actually mentions a specific microcred certificate in data visualization and analysis as an example.
Okay, what's a microcred?
Oh, right. It's basically a smaller, more targeted qualification, shorter than a full degree, focuses on validating skills in one specific area. So things like that, or attending workshops, getting professional certifications. It's about being proactive with learning.
Makes sense. And beyond just learning new technical skills, there's also a mindset point in the article, isn't there? About how we should view AI itself.
Yes, that's important. It suggests not seeing AI purely as a threat, like a job stealer, but more as a potential tool.
A tool to help us do our jobs better.
Exactly, something that can augment our own capabilities, boost efficiency, learning to work with AI, not just, fearing it.
That's a significant shift in perspective for some people, I imagine.
It can be. And to help with that, the post recommends staying informed. Keep up with industry news, maybe go to conferences, network with people in the field.
That's all part of that continuous learning idea.
It is. Which leads us back to something you mentioned, flexibility, adaptability. It sounds a bit cliche sometimes,
But it's probably more important than ever now.
I think so. With technology changing this fast, being able to pivot, learn quickly, adjust, it's moving from a nice-to-have to pretty much essential.
Okay, so that's the impact on individual roles.
Yeah.
What about the bigger picture, the workforce as a whole?
Right. Looking at the wider workforce, the blog post acknowledges it's multifaceted. It reinforces the automation points, the changing skill needs.
But it also tackles the job displacement fear head on.
It does. It doesn't shy away from the fact that some jobs are at risk, that displacement is a real concern for some people.
But it balances that.
Yes, it balances it by highlighting the potential upside for many employees getting away from the really boring, repetitive tasks.
Freeing them up for more engaging work, more complex stuff, maybe more creative.
That's the idea, yeah. The more fulfilling aspects of work, potentially. Which is, an optimistic view.
But a valid one, hopefully.
Yeah.
Still, you can't just ignore the anxiety people feel about displacement or jobs just changing completely.
Absolutely not, and the article doesn't. But again, it points to the counterbalance, the creation of those new roles we talked about. Data analysis, AI development, machine learning. These are growing fields.
Okay. Now, the blog post also brings up some other broader challenges with rolling out AI on a large scale, doesn't it?
It does. Really important ethical considerations. Things like potential bias creeping into AI algorithms.
Bias? How so?
Well, if the data used to train AI is biased, or if the algorithms themselves aren't carefully designed, they could end up making unfair or discriminatory decisions. That's a huge concern.
Right, that could have really negative consequences. So fairness and equity are key.
Definitely. It touches on the responsibility involved in actually creating and using these powerful tools. We need to be really thoughtful about it.
What about privacy? Security, with AI using so much data.
That's another major point. Protecting personal data, ensuring systems are secure from cyber threats. It becomes even more critical as AI gets more sophisticated and integrated. Data protection is paramount.
These are pretty big hurdles to overcome.
They are significant challenges, though. They need proactive solutions, regulations, ethical guidelines. But the article balances this by circling back to the potential gains.
The efficiency and productivity boosts.
Yeah, which in turn can create the economic space for new kinds of jobs for people who have the right skills. It's a complex trade-off, really.
Okay, let's zoom out even further then. What about the overall impact on employment numbers? The economy?
So the blog post really hammers home this dual effect. AI creates new job types and changes existing ones. It's not just one or the other.
And it mentioned some projections.
Yes, quite striking ones. It cites a McKinsey & Company report suggesting something like 20 to 50 million new jobs globally by 2030.
Wow, 20 to 50 million. In which areas mainly?
Across key sectors, apparently.
Yeah.
Healthcare, manufacturing, finance were mentioned. It gives a sense of the potential scale of job creation.
That's quite a positive spin compared to some headlines. And does the blog post give more examples of these new roles?
It does. It lists a few interesting ones. One was AI trainers and teachers.
AI trainers, what do? Train the AI.
Essentially, yes. People responsible for training the AI systems, guiding their learning, ensuring accuracy, maybe developing new ways to use them.
That's fascinating. It implies a lot of human oversight is still needed.
Absolutely. It highlights that even advanced AI needs human expertise to guide it, to teach it effectively. It's not just plug and play.
Okay, who else?
Well, data analysts and scientists, again stressing their role in making sense of all the data AI generates, turning raw data into useful business insights.
So the interpretation layer, critical.
Very. It's about finding the meaning, the knowledge within the numbers. Then there was one called human-machine teaming managers.
Human-machine teaming managers. Sounds like something out of sci-fi.
Maybe a little, but the idea is practical. It's about managing the interaction, the collaboration between human workers and AI systems.
Optimizing how they work together.
Exactly. To boost productivity, efficiency, it really emphasizes partnership, not just replacement. Finding the best way for humans and AI to complement each other's strengths, like orchestrating a team.
That sounds like a really crucial role for the future workplace.
I think it could be. And the last one mentioned was AI ethics and policy specialists.
Back to the ethical side.
Right. People who specifically focus on complex ethical questions and the policy implications surrounding AI development and deployment.
Making sure it's used responsibly.
Precisely. Ensuring AI aligns with societal values and serves humanity well. It's a vital area.
So lots of new roles emerging. But the article also said AI enhances existing jobs.
Yes, that's the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
It gives examples like improving accuracy and quality control or speeding up data analysis for roles that already involve those.
Making current jobs maybe more effective.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
It uses healthcare as a specific example. AI assisting doctors and nurses, helping with things like diagnostics, maybe suggesting treatment options based on vast amounts of data, which could improve patient outcomes.
And possibly reduce some of the administrative burden on healthcare staff.
That's the hope, freeing them up for more direct patient care. It's a powerful example of AI augmenting human skills in a critical field.
Okay, but let's address the elephant in the room. Unemployment. What does the source say about overall job numbers? Will AI lead to mass unemployment?
That's the big debate, isn't it? The blog post actually references another report, this one from the World Economic Forum.
And what did that one project?
Interestingly, it projected a net gain in jobs globally by 2025, something like 133 million new roles created versus 75 million displaced.
So net increase of around 58 million jobs. That's quite optimistic.
It is more optimistic than many predictions. However, the article adds a crucial caveat.
Which is?
That the impact won't be the same everywhere. It'll likely vary a lot by industry and by region.
So some sectors might see job losses even if the global picture is positive, like manufacturing did.
Potentially, yes. While other areas, maybe like healthcare and education, might see significant growth, it's a much more nuanced picture than just one number suggests.
Right. And beyond job numbers, what about economic growth? Productivity?
The potential is there, according to the post. AI could drive significant productivity gains and contribute to overall economic growth. But there's another concern raised.
Let me guess. Inequality.
You got it. The potential for AI to widen the wealth gap, the gap between those who have the skills to work with AI and benefit from it, and those who don't.
That seems like a really serious societal challenge to manage.
Absolutely. It underscores why things like accessible education, retraining programs, and support for displaced workers are so incredibly important, ensuring the benefits are shared more widely.
Okay, so pulling it all together,
Yeah.
what are the final takeaways from this?
Well, the blog post really emphasizes that the pace of technological change we're seeing now is pretty much unprecedented, and it's hitting job roles across the board.
Automation, AI. They're fundamentally changing how we work, no doubt about it.
No doubt. And it acknowledges that some roles are definitely at risk while others are evolving and these new ones are being created. It's a mixed bag.
And the key is being proactive.
Yes, that's a strong message. We need a proactive approach from everyone, individuals, companies, governments, to make sure the benefits of AI are balanced with the needs of actual workers in society.
So for us as individuals, what's the bottom line?
Adaptability again. And acquiring new skills. The need to be a lifelong learner in this digital age isn't just advice anymore. It feels like a requirement to thrive.
We have to keep learning, keep evolving alongside the tech.
Pretty much. And the post also highlights the societal need, the crucial importance of supporting workers who are at risk of displacement. Training, education for new roles. That support system is vital.
Okay. But it ends on a positive note overall.
It does, yes. Despite the challenges, it concludes by emphasizing AI's huge potential. Potential to drive innovation, boost efficiency, improve quality of life,
Create new jobs, drive economic growth.
and even help tackle major global challenges. But the key is that collaboration between humans and AI, that's where the real power lies.
It's a reminder that while there's definitely disruption and adjustment needed, the potential upside is enormous if we manage it well.
Exactly. The potential for positive transformation is endless.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive then, the key messages seem pretty clear. AI isn't just about automating tasks anymore. It's bigger than that.
Much bigger. It's fundamentally reshaping the job market, creating new kinds of work, and demanding different skills from all of us.
And the future of work really seems to hinge on our ability to adapt, to commit to learning throughout our careers.
And figuring out how to best collaborate with these powerful AI tools.
Right, so for you listening, the takeaways from this source really point towards focusing on building those skills, data skills, critical thinking, creativity, and that all-important adaptability.
Yeah, those seem to be the core elements needed to navigate what's coming based on this analysis. They're the foundations for staying relevant.
Definitely. So on that note, maybe here's a final thought to chew on, something to consider. Given how fast AI is evolving, What concrete steps can you start taking, like today, to position yourself for the job market of tomorrow?
Uh-huh. And maybe also, how could you leverage AI right now, even in small ways, to maybe boost your current skills or even explore completely new possibilities for yourself?
A really vital question, I think, for all of us navigating this rapidly changing world of work.
Absolutely. Food for thought.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the impact of AI on jobs and the workforce.